It's Tuesday, September 16th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Dalhousie University and its faculty vote on a deal. Moosehead Beer says bye-bye to bottles and moves over to cans.
We had warmer September weather today and more tomorrow, but expected to cool off by the start of the weekend.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. A tentative deal has been reached at Dalhousie after a month-long labor dispute. The faculty of the region's largest university has yet to vote on it. If accepted, it will be another week before students start classes. CTV's Vanessa Wright reports.
After nearly 1 month, a glimmer of hope finally came for Dal students, now that a tentative deal has been reached.
I'm just delighted that, all those emotions that I and my colleagues were feeling have been sort of put aside now. As we say, we've got resolution on a deal that makes sense to us. Our union is recommending that we accept it. From what I've heard today, I'm very happy with it, and I'm going to accept it personally.
If the deal is ratified, faculty members will return to work this Thursday, with classes expected to resume Tuesday.
I think it is a huge relief for students. A lot of us have been waiting for this news for a long time. We've been really hoping for a deal. We've been hoping that parties would come together in good faith, and it's exciting to see that that's happened.
In recent days, students have been rallying on campus, demanding tuition refunds, and even with confirmation of a return to classes, that demand remains.
We're going to lose time in the classroom. We're going to be under more stress. Your assignments are going to be at shorter intervals. It's going to be a really difficult semester. And so when we're talking about, well, what can Dal do? Dal should absolutely be refunding the tuition for weeks that are missed.
Just because the lockout is over does not mean that effort is over. Students still want that. That is not going away. And so we'll continue to fight on it until we hear back, until we get a win.
But that isn't their only concern. Mealy says with a new start date, there are questions about what the semester will look like.
What the timelines will be like, what their schedule is, what the syllabuses are going to look like, if it's going to be condensed, what reading break looks like. So there's a lot of concerns about what the workload will look like for the semester. Questions
and concerns Sheehan says he understands.
But I'm very hopeful that we can regain some time, and then also as professors we can adjust some of the way we would cover the material.
Details of the agreement have not been released. CTV News reached out to both the university and the Faculty Association, but did not hear back. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Just down Robie Street, another Halifax university could see a picket line. The majority of part-time faculty at St. Mary's University has voted in favor of strike action. The details are at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Some of the hundreds of people who were living in an apartment building that burned Monday morning were allowed inside today to retrieve some personal items. All are coming to grips with the destruction of the Halifax area complex. CTV's Emma Convey spoke with one family.
Just 2 weeks after moving into their new apartment at 119 Handwell Drive, this couple and their 5-year-old daughter lost everything in this building fire.
Just on Saturday, I set it up a new office desk for her. We bought it from IKEA, and we just set it up. And yeah, now everything is burned down.
They lived on the top floor in one of the units that went up in flames.
We saw that 3 of the floors were on fire, and fire brigade was there, and after they tried to control it, but after some time it just went through the roof and everything. It was uncontrollable at that time. It was hard to watch that.
The cause of the fire is still unknown. Aside from the fire destroying a number of units, others took a hit from water and smoke. But for the Mann family,
apart from what we were wearing, we don't have a single document, like our degree certificates, our passports. There's not a single thing we have.
Some residents in parts of the building that didn't sustain as much damage were able to retrieve some of their belongings today, accompanied by firefighters.
The unburnt section, we deemed that portion of the building safe. There's a firewall that separates that portion from the rest of the building. We had a standby crew on overnight. that were here. They had a little bit of a flare-up overnight and called in some additional units.
The plan is for excavators to remove the backside of the building, giving firefighters access to put out the hot spots in the middle of the building. An evacuation center is open at a nearby recreation center. Red Cross has registered 52 households of the 64 units. And others like the Salvation Army are also offering support.
People are relieved that there are material things here for them so they can start to rebuild. They would have clean clothing, they could get a snack, just somewhere to even meet with other residents in the building.
The Salvation Army here in Middle Sackville says they've seen a steady number of people displaced by the fire registering for their help. And just today, over 100 people have dropped off clothing and other items. It really is a huge community effort, Todd, with a number of companies offering their services. And GoFundMes have been started for these families who have lost so much. Todd.
All right, that's CTV's Emma Convey. A school district in New Brunswick has had 2 of its electric school buses recalled due to safety concerns. The Anglophone East District notified parents of the safety recall involving buses from a Quebec-based company yesterday. 2 bus routes with students from 4 Moncton schools were cancelled. Today, the district secured temporary resources from the province for the day. CTV News reached out to the Department of Education to see if the recall is impacting other districts across the province. We did not hear back by the time we went to air tonight. A St. John police officer is recovering after being stabbed at a business Monday night. Officers responded to a disturbance at a Galbraith Place area business. That was around 9 o'clock. The 30-year-old female suspect allegedly stabbed an officer after police tried to speak with her. The officer was taken to hospital and released. The suspect was scheduled to appear in St. John court today. It seems the issue of homelessness has hit a tipping point in New Brunswick. After years of concerns and complaints, the province is launching a task force to address what Derek Haggett tells us is a growing problem.
The homeless numbers in New Brunswick are staggering, but the province says it's committed to doing something about it.
Let me make this clear. There is no dignity in homelessness, either for the people living in it or for the neighborhoods they occupy.
A new provincial task force announced today in Shediac will see coordinated efforts from 5 separate departments. An urgency needed now because the province says there are close to 1,000 people experiencing chronic homelessness. 511 in Moncton, 223 in St. John, 180 in Fredericton.
There's no question our big centers are seeing a bigger impact of chronic homelessness. Moncton sitting at 511 people living chronically on the street is something that we need to respond to.
Moncton's deputy mayor says the issue has existed in her city for years.
They're not there because it's a happy life, and they consume drugs because of their pain. And it's also very disturbing for the citizens to see this.
The first step, establishing a provincial strategy and an advisory council of community partners.
I'm from mental health and addictions and social development, public safety, housing, and myself as local government. I think that really proves that this government is committed to putting in the work and making the changes. That's 5 out of a 19-member cabinet, so it's a very big group.
Right away, the focus will be on immediate measures to try and bring those numbers down while laying the groundwork for systemic change. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Shediac, New Brunswick.
Here's a live look at Moncton now towards Dieppe, the Petitcodiac River. Currently 20 degrees, and as we bring in Kaylin Mitchell for a first look at the forecast, if one were to have an air conditioner, you would advise what? Turn it on tonight.
Probably turn it, yeah, you can have it on this evening, but probably turn it off for the overnight hours because very mild out there now, but our overnight low temperatures should be comfortable for sleeping, Todd, dipping down towards the high single digits and the low teens. So there you go. Temperatures right now across the region, they're mostly around the low to mid 20s. We do have some areas that have some temperatures that are around the mid to high teens, including a few parts of Cape Breton and a few parts of Prince Edward Island. That part of the Maritime slightly cooler because they were in that little bit of a north northeast wind for today. That does continue on into the first part of this evening. It's pretty light, though, even for that part of the Maritimes, most cases being sustained between around 5 and 17 kilometers per hour. In other parts of the region as well, you can see the wind's pretty light and no real strong gusts to show you. As we take a look at conditions as far as cloud cover goes, there's not much of it. We are underneath an area of high pressure, so that's going to keep our sky conditions very clear as we move through the night. As we have the clear skies during the overnight and the temperatures begin to cool off a little bit and the winds will be light, it is possible we could see some patchy fog develop, and that could be around for the start of the day for tomorrow before it dissipates as we move from the morning into the afternoon. Now, a benefit of it being so clear tonight is, once again, it makes this a great one for some night sky viewing, some stars, some planet gazing. You can see in our cloud outlook, not much of anything showing up as we make our way towards and after midnight. So here's a couple things you can see in the night sky. So first of all, once again, the moon is actually down through the evening hours. It won't be rising above the northeastern horizon with the planet Jupiter until around 3 a.m. But if you're up very early tomorrow morning and you look towards the eastern horizon, you should be able to spot 3 bright objects: the moon, which will be a waning crescent moon, 26% illuminated, Jupiter, and Venus. There's a 4-minute pass from the International Space Station at 9:11 p.m. this evening from the northwest to the northeast. A little bit low in the sky, a little bit quicker than the one yesterday, but it happens after astronomical twilight, so it might be a little bit easier to see. Just as a recap again of the different phases of twilight, you have civil twilight, which is enough ambient light for outdoor activities. That ends 8:29 p.m. Nautical twilight, where the horizon is still visible, but it's dark enough that the brightest stars and planets become visible as well. And astronomical twilight, which is ending just after 9 p.m., and that's dark enough that even the faint stars start to come through. Todd.
9:22 for the space station.
That's right.
All right, thank you. We'll see you later for the full forecast. Nova Scotia mayors won't be gaining overarching authority known as strong mayor powers, not anytime soon. After much controversy and concerns about Halifax Council and how it functions, the Premier has confirmed no legislation is coming, at least for now. For more, we turn to CTV's Callum Smith in the News Centre. Callum.
Todd, the Premier of the province, Tim Houston, made the comment on a Halifax radio talk show today. He wasn't available for an interview with CTV, but his office confirmed to us there won't be any legislative changes made in the fall sitting of the House, which starts 1 week from today. Houston talked about stepping in on certain municipal issues, particularly relating to transportation matters. The province still has the necessary tools in case the municipality steps, quote, way outside the lines, he said. But the Premier did say he's still listening to arguments on both sides of the strong mayor powers debate. Halifax Mayor Andy Fillmore has been vocal in his support for the change, saying it would improve accountability at City Hall. Fillmore previously said he did not fully understand the barriers to fulfilling his mayoral duties before taking the job. Fillmore was unavailable for an interview today, but tells CTV News in a statement, quote, "Democracy can be messy, but my commitment is to make it work for the people of HRM." He also said his role is to listen, bring people together, and help guide the future of our region for everyone's benefit. Now, one mayor that has opposed strong mayor powers after reviewing legislation used in Ontario is Cumberland County's Rod Gilroy.
The big one for us was in our dealings with the staff, the senior management, the CAO. And you know what? I really felt very uncomfortable being in a position where I would have the ability to hire and fire those individuals without the approval of council and that type of thing. Because basically what that does is it brings a personality conflict directly into play, which at the end of the day might not result in the best decision being made.
Now, Gilroy says hearing the Premier walk away from the idea is responsible after hearing feedback and then being able to make an informed decision. Now, this certainly has been a sticky debate. One Halifax councillor previously told me she wouldn't have reoffered in the last municipal election if she was aware strong mayor powers could have become a reality. Others have insisted the entire functioning of City Hall would change drastically if implemented. But again, the Premier is now saying that won't, in fact, happen, at least in this fall sitting. Todd.
Okay, so it's not going to happen unless it happens. Callum, thank you for that in the News Centre this evening. And Nova Scotia's Auditor General isn't happy with the way the Houston government is monitoring nursing homes being built or how contractors are being picked to build them. In a new report released today, Kim Adair says the province did not use a competitive bidding process for more than 4,800 new nursing home beds when it awarded contracts to existing nursing home owners. She says that raised questions about transparency and value for money.
With billions of dollars at stake, Nova Scotians deserve confidence that their tax dollars are delivering best value. In other audit findings, we found that while contracts signed with service providers show evidence of value for money, there's room for improvement.
In a statement, the seniors minister said the department has already taken many of the necessary steps to address issues flagged in the report. The AG says at last count, Nova Scotia had just over 7,400 nursing beds with a wait list of 1,800 people. The plan to refurbish the wharf in St. Andrews is dead in the water. Councillors have cancelled a tender for the project after all bids came in over budget. CTV's Nick Moore reports.
Market Wharf and the town square in St. Andrews are in the center of this resort community, and all summer both have been at the center of a controversial plan to refurbish them against a changing climate. Last night, council had to make a decision on whether or not to go ahead with a tender on the hybrid steel infill project. In the end, council voted unanimously to call the whole thing off.
I'm happy that they're taking time to think about it and make a better decision.
The project already had a cloud over it going into the vote, which was supposed to happen weeks ago. There were delays after an 11th-hour environmental study was ordered, following concerns from residents about how the project might affect the coast and harbor. Then there was the issue of how some people thought it would all appear in the historic downtown.
We really didn't like what it was going to look like.
With all this asphalt, concrete, and ironstone. Hey, we won for a little while.
Several council members said they voted to step away from the tender because all 6 bids came in between $9.5 and $17 million over budget, with the project initially projected to cost roughly $7 million.
It's all back to square one.
Kate Akagi is the interim mayor of St. Andrews and says the wharf debate is hardly over.
So we'll just reconfigure, try and figure a solution that will work for everyone.
Council had also been working under the guise of a March 2026 deadline for federal funding, which was confirmed not to be accurate.
Now we have some time to breathe, I'd say, to think about it. And whether it's done in our mandate, because ours will finish in May of 2026, or whether the next council will take it on.
However, some construction on the wharf will have to be done next year in order to maintain the structure in the short term. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. Andrews.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
In 1933, Canada was in the Great Depression. R.B. Bennett of Hopewell Hill, New Brunswick, was Prime Minister, and Moosehead beer appeared in bottles for the very first time. Over the next 92 years, there was the brown stubbies and the green long necks. But now the brewery is shelving its bottles. Avery McRae tells us why.
For decades, the sound of bottles clanging has been the soundtrack inside St. John's Moosehead Brewery.
We're very proud of our past, but we're always focused on our future and focused on what we need to do next to keep earning the trust and the support of beer drinkers.
By year's end, Moosehead will stop producing bottled beer and focus exclusively on cans and kegs. Moosehead President and CEO Andrew Olin says the decision reflects the times. According to Moosehead, just 7% of beer drinkers in Canada are twisting off a bottle cap, compared to 85% who are cracking open a can. The amount of can consumers has increased by 20% in the last 5 years alone.
When my great-great-great-grandmother, Susanna Olin, started brewing beer in 1867, we only sold it in kegs. And we didn't start selling in bottles till 1933, and then cans came in the mid-1950s. This will give us time, an opportunity in the years to come to look at either larger cans or smaller cans.
Let's go moonlighting. The bottles have been iconic over the company's years, whether it be the classic green bottle or the old-style stubby. Bottling up that area of production wasn't a decision made lightly by Canada's oldest brewery.
I go back to sort of when we first started talking about it in 2019, and I remember like, that'll never happen. And then you get more and more comfortable with these decisions, and who knows what Moosehead will be selling beer in 50 years from now, but it'll all be the great beer that we brew here at Moosehead.
The company intends to expand its canning capability at the plant. The final bottle run will happen in December and stay on shelves until they're out. And Todd, to celebrate the end of the bottling era, Moosehead is offering the chance for one lucky fan to own the final bottle ever made here at the brewery. The winner of an online contest, which closes October 27th, will be selected to witness the final production run and take the last ever bottle made home directly off the line. Have to admit, it's a pretty neat little piece of maritime history to be had here, Todd.
Yeah, certainly is. Thanks for that, Avery, at the Moosehead Brewery in St. John. Okay, let's make this the CTV web poll tonight, and we're asking, do you prefer to drink beer from a can or a bottle? And your options are can, bottle, doesn't matter, or maybe you don't drink beer at all. Take your pick at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Time for us to take a break. We've had the beer. We'll get into the chips next. They're cooking again at Covered Bridge. The potato chip producer is up and running after what's been a pretty tumultuous period with a destructive plant fire and then some leadership changes. But as CTV's Laura Brown discovered, focus is now back on the snack.
The chips are finally falling into place. For the first time since a fire destroyed their production facility last year, Covered Bridge Chips is back to full capacity, cooking up their beloved kettle chips in a warehouse-turned-processing plant in Woodstock, New Brunswick.
We're fully self-sufficient now, farm to table again the way we started.
Russet potatoes are sliced and fried, and chips are racing down conveyor belts. And employees are back too. The company rehired everyone they could. They now employ over 110 people.
It's been hard, but our staff and team's been resilient. Very proud of the work. Everybody just rolled up their sleeves and just looked at it as another challenge, and we got the job done.
The fire hasn't been the only challenge. U.S. tariffs have had their effect. Though their potatoes are all from maritime fields, the price of things like production equipment, even avocado oil, have increased. And last fall, the company's longtime president and CEO took a leave following a charge of domestic violence in the U.S. With the company since 2009, Dickinson took over as executive vice president. When asked about that change in leadership, Dickinson credited the team.
We're very proud of where we're at today.
And then there's curiosity about what will happen to the original chip processing site near Heartland. The plan right now is to build a bigger gift shop and museum on this site, but as far as manufacturing returning here, that's to be determined. Back at the Woodstock site, a different plan is popping up.
We're going to build up our popcorn operation. We had a lot of people don't realize that we had a thriving popcorn line, thriving part of the popcorn business of the company, and so we're still working with partners on that.
They've chipped away at those challenges, and Dickinson feels they're on the other side.
I would say we're fully recovered. There's still more work to be done, but we're a lot more comfortable now than what we were certainly, even just 6 months ago.
Laura Brown, CTV News, Woodstock, New Brunswick.
All right, still to come tonight, a bit of high cloud moves over tomorrow. Kalen Mitchell is working on the details of the full maritime forecast, and we'll have that for you right after this break.
Start your morning with us for what you need to start your day. News, weather, and even a little fun. Your Morning Atlantic with Amanda Devison, Crystal Garrett, and Latavia Beezer. Weekdays from 6 to 9 on CTV2 and ctvatlantic.ca.
Wow, what a fantastic shot at 6:30. 21 degrees right now in Tangier, Nova Scotia. That courtesy our friends at Nova Scotia Webcams.
Yeah, so I was talking about earlier, heading into civil twilight right now.
Civil twilight.
Civil.
Okay, next one's nautical, right?
Yeah, next one's nautical. That's when you can still see or make out the horizon faintly, but some of the brighter objects in the night sky start to become visible as well.
Golden hour, they call that, don't they?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Golden hour.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a little extra time. I carved out because I want to talk about hurricane season.
Yes.
The only one we really spent any time on was Aaron, who thankfully
swerved away,
went out to sea. But this is, I was reading, this is the peak week of hurricane season.
Yeah, just passed it now, actually.
And we really haven't said anything. I know there's a disturbance you were sort of looking at that could turn into something.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty quiet.
It's been quiet for it being the statistical peak of the season. Take a look at this image here while I talk just a little bit more about that. There's the peak kind of early to mid-September, and we're just getting past that point now.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Todd, with that being the statistical peak, it means that in past years, there have been plenty of storms that have occurred after this date as well, right? So it's not like we're free and clear from the hurricane season quite yet, but we are past that peak, and things have been pretty quiet. Maybe a contributing number of factors, lack of thunderstorms coming in off of the continent of Africa over those warm Atlantic tropical waters, and additionally, Saharan dust.
Okay, I want to ask you about that. So the sands getting whipped up and going out over
the ocean
can suppress that activity where they start to gather
can act like a blanket, keeping those thunderstorms from really developing, and then eventually those thunderstorms organize and develop into those tropical storms and the hurricanes. Now, we do have a couple areas being monitored for development here over the next couple of days. An area in the central Atlantic, so that's well away from any of that Saharan dust right now, beginning a 90% chance. So that's one area that would definitely be paying close attention to. And then an area closer to the coastline of Africa right now, beginning at a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. Weather conditions here in the country, pretty quiet weather for large parts of the west. We got 21 at Vancouver right now, 24 at Calgary, 25 at Regina with a mix of sun and clouded, 24 at Winnipeg. In the east, it's sunny. It's very warm in southern Ontario, 27 at Windsor, 25 at Ottawa and Montreal. In the Maritimes, 24 at Fredericton this hour, 22 at Halifax, and 17 at Charlottetown. A little bit cooler at St. John's, sitting at 10 degrees. Taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation as we move through tonight, it's high pressure in place. It's a clear night sky. Maybe a little bit of patchy fog developing during the overnight hours through the day for tomorrow. Some high clouds increasing from the south of us, mostly for areas of New Brunswick and western areas of Nova Scotia, though even by the late afternoon and evening hours, some of the high clouds should be showing up around parts of Prince Edward Island and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. And there'll be some further increase in cloudiness as we move through Wednesday night. Now, winds in the forecast for tomorrow are going to become southwest, and they'll be sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour, maybe getting a few gusts between 20 and 40. In general, though, the winds will be picking up in speed a little bit for Thursday, so on that day becoming a little bit breezier in the region. Most low temperatures tonight for the Maritimes will be falling into a range around high single digits to the low teens. Some locations will be a little bit cooler in that. Low-lying areas in western parts of New Brunswick and interior areas of Nova Scotia, including parts of the north and the east of the province, could have some low temperatures that fall down to around the low to mid-single digits. Highs in the forecast for tomorrow for communities in the north of New Brunswick. Well, that's warm for this time of the year, between 24 and 27 degrees, including 27 around Bathurst and Miramichi, 27 for Fredericton for tomorrow, 26 for St. Stephen, 27 for Moncton, the southeast, around the Bay of Fundy coastline, low 20s, so 21 Grand Manan, 22 at Campobello. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow with high temperatures of 22 to 25 degrees, so low to mid-20s for PEI, warm mid-September day. Cape Breton for tomorrow, high temperatures, low to mid-20s, mid-20s for the north shore of Nova Scotia, on the eastern shore close to the Atlantic coastline, 21 to 23 degrees. 24 for Sheet Harbour for tomorrow, 23 for Halifax, 25 for Truro and 25 for Amherst. The Annapolis Valley tomorrow, warm, highs near 25. And then on the south shore of Nova Scotia, 25 at Bridgewater, 23 at Liverpool and Shelburne, and 21 at Yarmouth. In the 7-day outlook for New Brunswick, coming up on Thursday, increasing cloudiness during the day. Chance of showers Thursday night into early Friday as a weak cold front comes through. Now, that front does cool off temperatures for the start of the weekend. Temperatures recover a little bit on Sunday. Then they look mild to warm again through the first part of next week. For Nova Scotia, in the outlook coming up on Thursday, it's a mix of sun and cloud, breezy southwest winds, scattered showers with that front passing across the province on Friday, followed by a cool start to the weekend, with temperatures coming up a few degrees for Sunday, and then a mix of sun and cloud in Monday's and Tuesday's forecast, low 20s. And for Prince Edward Island, coming up on Thursday, breezy southwest winds on Friday. It's some scattered showers passing across the province with the cold front. Temperatures cooler in behind that for the start of the weekend, but back up to 18 degrees as a high for Sunday, and then a mix of sun and cloud back into the 20s for Monday and Tuesday of next week, Todd.
Ooh, that low of 5. You'll feel that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you at the end of the show, Kaylin. Next, we're going to talk about a UK trade delegation that's visiting the Maritimes, and we have this story in entertainment.
I'm Katie Kelly. Tonight on The Scene, thank you, Anne. Anne Murray is 80, and fans are celebrating with a heartfelt gift. We'll tell you more about a brand new book filled with stories of how her music has touched lives across generations. Coming up.
Okay, so we're back at it tomorrow, giving you a chance to win $5,000 daily with Virgin Radio's 5K a day.
Get your first keyword with us at 7 a.m.
And get your shot at $100 to studio as well.
Welcome back on this Tuesday night. A delegation from the United Kingdom is in the Maritimes this week to explore opportunities to do things like increase trade. Emily Addison serves as country director in Canada for the UK's Department for Business and Trade, promoting trade and connecting companies between our two countries. And we've reached her, not in the Maritimes, you're actually in London tonight, where it's well, later in the evening. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm sad to not be with the delegation in the East Coast tonight, but looking forward to hearing how it all goes. And the reports I've been hearing so far have been very positive.
Okay, well, tell us about that. What have you been hearing?
So, as you mentioned, we have a delegation of representatives in the Maritimes for the next couple of days. They're meeting with businesses across Fredericton, Halifax, and working really closely with Invest Nova Scotia and Opportunities New Brunswick. And we've heard some great reports from those companies on the opportunities that exist in the UK, the deep ties that exist between Canada and the UK and the East Coast in the UK. And we expect there to be lots of opportunities for continued trade between our two countries.
Okay, I'd like to ask you a little more about that. But first, maybe we should step back. Give us a sense of just how dynamic, how important that trade is between the UK and Nova Scotia and New Brunswick in particular.
It's exceptionally important, and we see regularly that there are exceptionally innovative companies that are coming out of the Maritimes, and we've had several success stories doing just that. Our two-way trade is very strong. We have a strong trade continuity agreement that enables companies to enter into both markets, and our team works tirelessly to make sure that there's opportunities for businesses in both countries.
The Maritimes bring in a lot of goods from the UK. We're one of your more significant Canadian purchasers, isn't that right?
That you are, which is fantastic. Nova Scotia itself is the third largest Canadian province importing goods from the UK, and New Brunswick is the fifth largest importing source. And in both provinces, that includes things like whiskeys, which I imagine quite a few people enjoy, as well as petroleums, tractors, different parts.
What is the delegation hoping to do while here? Is this just a matter, is it pressing the flesh with companies that might be looking to expand into the UK? Are they lobbying on behalf of British companies that think there's, more opportunity for sales in this part of the country?
That's exactly right. The UK has just launched the Modern Industrial Strategy in the last couple of months, which is really an opportunity to showcase the expertise, the opportunity that exists across the whole of the UK, whether that be in infrastructure, in AI, in defence. There's immense opportunities for Canadian business to benefit from exporting or opening up in the UK, and our team is there this week holding mixers, so bringing companies together to meet with one another and to meet with our representatives to understand the opportunity that exists in the UK, as well as doing one-on-one meetings to really understand what a company might need in order to expand into a different market globally, and to make sure that they have all the resources available, whether that be business supports or that be just kind of navigating the market of setting up somewhere new. The UK is an incredible place to do just that, and our team is there on the ground to help companies navigate just that.
Look, it's no surprise. The background to all of this is the White House administration and the fact that every country is trying to firm up relationships with trading partners and expand those. Is that fair to say that's at least part of what's behind this?
Canada and the UK have had deep ties for a very long time, and we find, talking to business, that there are so many commonalities between the two markets that there's a natural partnership. And for businesses, when you're looking to go into a new market, it can be daunting. And having a common language, having a lot of heritage ties, especially in the East Coast, there are a lot of heritage ties between Canada and the UK. It makes it a very welcoming market for companies to expand into, and there are so many opportunities. So while the global economics are certainly shifting, there's a lot of stability affordability in the UK economy, which I know when we talk to Canadian businesses, we hear to be very attractive.
You must see this. We suddenly have a lot more direct flights from this part of Canada to the UK. And no surprise, there are far fewer Maritimers heading to the United States for vacation or even for business work. Is there an opportunity there?
The direct flights has been a big one. We work really closely with our partners at Visit Britain, the tourism agency, that looks to attract visitors into the UK. And the flights have been an immense opportunity for business to go across, for tourism, and I know that's especially true over the summer months. So there absolutely is increased opportunity for across the whole of Canada, certainly for the Maritimes, even closer to the UK. So I do expect that to continue to be a really exciting opportunity for Canadians, for those in the Maritimes, to continue to enter into the UK market, whether that be for tourism or for our purposes for business as well.
So your colleagues have been to Halifax. You mentioned on the way to Fredericton. You know, should we expect any deals to be signed out of this? Is there any press release at the end of all this, or is this just a chance to get better acquainted?
Definitely a chance to get better acquainted. We know that businesses take their time to enter into new markets. We've recently had some very exciting success stories with some maritime companies opening up offices in the UK, which is fantastic. We expect to see more of that very soon. But this is the first time our broader team, that covers the whole of Canada, has had the chance to enter into the Maritimes and to do a visit just like this. So we're really excited for the opportunity that's going to come out of it. We have strong connections across the defence space, which we will continue to do work in, and I know our defense team is regularly in the Maritimes for those conversations. So definitely stay tuned, but we look to continue to deepen those ties.
Okay, and we look forward to that. Emily Addison in London with UK Trade. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
We'll take a break. Lots more of your local news. Stay with us. In health headlines tonight, we'll look at how fossil fuels affect health across lifetimes. That's just one of the stories in the Lifeline with CTV's Amanda Debison.
A new report warns the extraction, transportation, and burning of fossil fuels have a huge impact on people's health that starts before they're born and lasts until they die. According to peer-reviewed research cited in the report, living near coal mines or fracking sites has been linked to higher rates of premature births, miscarriages, and other problems during pregnancies. During childhood, air pollution from fossil fuels is associated with higher rates of asthma and cancers such as leukemia. In older age, people exposed to air pollution have been found to have an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, certain forms of dementia, and early death. The report comes from the Global Climate and Health Alliance. With clocks set to turn back an hour November 2nd, a new study is shedding light on the negative health impacts of seasonal time changes. The study from Stanford finds switching twice a year could lead to a higher risk of obesity and stroke. The researchers say our circadian clock is intimately involved in the regulation of human health, and disruptions to the function of that clock can directly lead to negative health consequences. Researchers concluded that staying in standard time all year comes with the most health benefits. While gaining an hour of sleep in November is generally welcomed by many, losing an hour each March has already been linked to increases in heart attacks and fatal traffic accidents. The study was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences Journal. Finally, if you're a student facing a big exam, taking it at noon might be your best chance of acing it. A new study from Italy looked at over 100,000 university oral exams scheduled between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. and found students performed best in the late morning. Researchers suspect the internal body clock or circadian rhythm may help sharpen the mind around midday. It is worth noting the study only looked at students enrolled at one university, and it did not consider factors like sleep, stress, or examiner style. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for the Lifeline.
Time for the scene. Katie is on assignment tonight, so I'll look after this. Anne Murray has been celebrated around the world for decades. We know that. And this is a year to mark her 80th birthday, and so fans wanted to give something back. So as Katie Kelly shows us, the result is a new book filled with personal stories about all the lives that she's touched.
It's been a milestone year for Anne Murray. New music, major awards, and now a birthday celebration like any other.
People just have these incredible stories, and I thought, why don't we try to gather them all in a book that we can present to Anne for her 80th birthday?
That idea became Thank You, Anne, stories from around the world.
I've heard so many fan stories about how much Anne's music means to them, or, you know, it's the song they danced to at their wedding, or like there was one guy who saw her in concert 116 times.
Charlie Reindress, the outreach coordinator at the Anne Murray Center, led the project.
It wasn't hard at all. We literally put one call out at the Anne Murray Center. We posted it on Facebook, and we got over 100 almost immediately.
The result? A collection that captures all sides of Anne's legacy.
Some of them are incredibly moving, and, you know, some of them are funny.
This summer, Reindress presented the book to Anne at the anniversary of the Anne Murray Center.
And I read a few of the stories to her, and she actually said, "Stop, Charlie, you're going to make me cry," because there were a couple really touching ones.
The book also includes memories from some of Murray's peers, like Canadian country singer Carol Baker.
Carol appeared on one of Anne's television specials a number of years ago, and she sent in a really sweet story about how helpful and supportive Anne was, and I read that to her, and she seemed to be really touched by that.
For Murray supporters, it's more than just a keepsake.
It will probably help them realize they're not alone.
Thank You, Anne is limited edition and only available through the Anne Murray Center.
We'll be right back.
With Crash and Sarah Betts.
Tomorrow, the worst thing is when you can't even trust yourself. We'll get into that.
That, and we'll have more keywords for you for your chance at $20,000 with Moves Dream Big.
Our market report returns tomorrow. Kaylin is on the weather deck with one more look at the forecast.
Yeah, a very clear evening, clear night ahead. Once again, for those interested, a pass from the International Space Station occurring at around 9:11 p.m. It'll be moving from the northwest to the northeast, fairly low in the sky, so you want as good of a view of the horizon as you can get. And it's a pretty quick one as well, about 4 minutes in length. All right, let's take a look at a viewer picture for tonight. And this is a great picture, and it features some mist in the fields and around Debert, Nova Scotia. It was sent in by Jackie King. I want to thank Jackie very much for sharing this great picture for us. While we're on the topic of some mist and some fog, overnight there may be a little bit of patchy fog that develops, especially in low-lying areas around the Maritimes, and that'll be dissipating as we make our way through tomorrow morning. Debert for tomorrow, high temperature near 24 degrees, and day planner for tomorrow in the morning around the region. There'll be a little bit of high cloud cover beginning to increase for southwestern areas of New Brunswick and southwestern Nova Scotia, and morning temperatures will be mostly around the high single digits and the low teens. And then moving into the afternoon, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud and a lot of high temperatures around the 20s. Todd.
All right, that looks like a summer day tomorrow, Kaylin. Thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow night. And coming up here tomorrow night at 6, a new book looks at our region's relationship with the lobster fishery and why there could be challenges on the horizon, what those might be. We will speak to the author. That's here tomorrow night in our interview segment at 6 o'clock. And finally tonight, for the first time in history, all the pieces of the U.S. Constitution are on public display together. Building is hosting all 4 pages of the original document, right through to the most recent amendment. All 4 pages of the Constitution have been on display at the National Archives since 2003, but an extra clerical 5th page of the Bill of Rights and the 17 other amendments have never been displayed side by side at the same time. The public can view the display starting today through to October 1st. That, of course, is on the National Mall in Washington. And that is our look at the day here at home. Bruce Frisco is here at 11:30 with our late news. CTVNewsAtlantic.ca has updates anytime. I'm Todd Battis. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Until then, have a good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.